Good morning, good morning. How you doing, everybody? I see some faces in there, I think, already. And I'm early for being late, I think. But yes, yes. I'm sorry. I was answering a text message. Um, it feels good. It feels good. Hey guys, I'm so happy to see you. AJM, Hannah, it's great to see you. AJ Blunt, same. Karen Ann, yay. Hey Faith, how you doing? It's great to see you. Karen Ann, if you not to put you on the spot, but if you ever want to come on the show, I was thinking about that, having you come on. And it's up to you. Think about that. There's a few of you that I've been thinking about for a while to have on, to like do like a testimony or maybe even an awakening to the truth, quote unquote community, I guess, or even like certain truths that like made a huge difference in like the amount of faith you have, things like that, right? So I think yes, no pressure, never any pressure on the Good Servant Show because this is it's like even if you schedule to be on and at the very last minute you don't want to come on, then I you can you could just tell me you don't want to come on and be in the chat, and that's fine, and I'll figure it out. I've done so many shows in a row that sorry, Faith, I'll slow down. Is it a robot voice for everybody, or is it just Faith that is hearing that? Just want to make sure the sound is good. Well, I went to the dentist yesterday, and I got to go back again today because I went on the wrong day. That is crazy. I know, and it was like $30 to get to the dentist. It's unbelievable, man. The prices of cabs and Ubers nowadays, it's just unbelievable. And so I'm uh, I talked to my mom yesterday, and I like talk. I enjoyed talking to my mom. We used to talk all the time, like almost every day, but it's been like different lately. Not bad, but different. And it's a lot less. But I was talking to her yesterday, and I was like, oh man, I spent $30 to get down to the dentist, and it wasn't the day I was supposed to go, so I got to spend that money again. And like when you like uh, budget your money like I do in California, it's devastating, like something like that. But my mom was like, "I'll replace it for you," like she's so sweet, as if it was like uh, the end of the world or something, but it is the end of the world right now. But she was like, "Let me replace it," and I was like, "No, I got it. I'm okay. I'll figure it out." And so it is not that big of a deal. But anyway, so yeah, that was nice. It feels good to talk to mom. Um, I don't even want to meet the boy that doesn't love his mom. That's for sure. I even tell my kids that, like I know that your mom is like hostile towards me or whatever, but I would never want you guys to be upset at her just because she doesn't like me. That I told him I don't even want to meet a boy that doesn't love his mom. And so that's important. I think having some kind of loyalty that's beyond reason, right? Beyond reason. Loyalty like you would have to your kids, like even beyond what's reasonable. I have loyalty to my kids, and I want them to have that for their mom at least, right? And so it kind of helps us in thinking about our loyalty to God, right? How faithful He is to us. I think it's important for us to be faithful. I mean, I think that's one of the most important things, right? Is you're right, AJ Blunt. You're right. There are caveats to that. If you had a parent or whatever that was abusive, then of course, yeah, that was a broad statement, I guess. Yeah, you're right, AJ. Thank you for pointing that out. But yeah, if if you had a parent in your life that was supportive to you, it's important to form those relationships. Thank you for saying that, AJ. That helped out. And gotta stay on my toes, right? It's important to say the right things, right? Especially if you're talking about God or speaking for what you think God wants, right? And so I have a lot of speech habits that could be messing with people. I'm really trying to work on it hard, and hopefully it's I'm getting better. I hope it's not too annoying. Uh, but sometimes you have to listen to criticism to get better, right? And that's very important. And I would want my brothers and sisters to call me out whenever I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do or saying what I'm supposed to say. And that's important. And I think being faithful to God is important. I think us trusting him right now with everything. Sometimes it's hard to get this to grasp this idea, right, of forgiving other people even when they don't deserve it, or even or repaying evil with kindness, right? These things are very tough spiritual things to grasp, right? And so it doesn't mean that people get off the hook or that people could treat you any way you want and you got to forgive, right? It just means that if we do what we're supposed to do, God will do what he's supposed to do for us. It will happen. If God says repay evil with kindness, then do it. And he will have vengeance for you. He will. It will happen. And it's the amount of faith that you have that will ensure if these things happen. So today I'm going to have Chris on. I'm sure you saw the title. I'm excited for this. And so I'll have him click the link and I will have him come on and we'll just have a chat. I think it'd be good. Yeah. I'm gonna put Faith in the title next time too when she's on, or Tom or whoever else is on. Whoever. I think that's important. I don't really. I should signify like different shows, right? Numbers or whatever. But I don't know, man. I don't know what I'm doing half the time. Half the time I think I know what I'm doing, but that's not what God wants me to do, And I'm grateful for that because my way is not the best way to do things anyway. It's not very successful. My best thinking got me here, right? And it's only because of God that I have hope at all, right? And so I have to really trust, God, because the reason I feel so happy and joyful and at peace is because of the things He's done for me and the hope that He instills in me about the future. And so, it's my pleasure to speak highly of Him, really. And so let me welcome Chris to the show. Hold on. Good morning, Chris. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm good, bud. How you doing?
You have a good morning radio voice, I think. So how are you doing today, man? What's going on?
Oh, not much, brother. Just chilling.
So what have you seen recently, in the news that you're thinking is interesting or um,
Oh gosh. The whole thing in Texas, that concert.
so do you think that was planned from the beginning, from beginning to end? Did they plan what was going to happen, or
Man,
did it turn into something?
I it's hard to say, dude. When the Kardashians are involved with something, man, it's hard to tell. That video you sent me, that clip where you could clearly hear people screaming, "Stop the show! We need help!" and then you could see that dude just smiling, just shaking his head. What's his name? Travis Scott. I think that kind of
Uh,
said it all.
that's creepy, isn't it?
It was very creepy, yeah.
And
And
it's just like, go ahead.
I left a comment on in the comment section, and that's what I said was that little clip kind of said it all. I said it looked, man, that comment blew up, like with likes, people agreeing, people disagreeing, and it's just I didn't expect it to go like that, but it happened.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Well, that video was from Hacking the Headlines. Sometimes I really like stuff that she puts out. She does take her time to explain it, and she's like, this is what's cool about her is that think what you want about her or whatever. I mean, I like the content she has. Everyone has an opinion about everybody, but um, even if something is something that we want to believe, um, she won't make a decision on it like just out of wanting it to be true. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like there. I think that her work is good because it like doesn't have that feel of confirmation bias. And so
Yeah.
that's good that you saw that.
Yeah, I subbed to her too. She did seem like it. She was like, well, she gives both options, basically you come to your own conclusion. I like that.
Yeah. And I think like here's the thing, right? I used to think like that everybody that was in the truth community was organic, right? Just a regular person like you and me, right? Has a channel and it just blows up or something. I used to think that's how it worked, but now I'm like starting to think more and more that there's a lot of things that are just um, manufactured, right? Not
Oh yeah.
organic at all. And so it makes you kind of wonder, like, oh, do I trust this person? Do I trust that person? I used to like when I'd sub to people, I'd be like, okay, I fully trust whatever this person says and that person says. And I was kind of naive to do that. And but what I've learned is that no matter what anybody feels about somebody, right, even if they have a negative claim that is, legitimate, I'll still watch, right, if there's content that is something I could use, right? Because we're critical thinkers, we don't have to have a person with perfect truth, right? And
Absolutely.
but she's always been all the stuff that I've seen from her has always been good so far. I haven't disagreed with much of it. That's for sure. And so I think being Christian, outspoken Christian, is important to me too now, whether we
Yeah.
believe it or not. Right? There's some people out there saying they're Christian, but we don't know, and it's hard. How do you judge something like that?
Yeah, dude. You got to take everything with a grain of salt nowadays. It's just like that. That's the way it is.
Everything with a grain of salt.
Yeah, but and then another thing, I've been keeping trying to keep, with this Kyle Rittenhouse trial. And just like I got on today and I saw people basically claiming victory just because they got that Gage Grosskreutz, whatever, to admit that he was going to kill Kyle. And they're like, taking that as a win. But I don't know, man. I don't count my, uh, how do I put this? Count your eggs before they hatch or
Yeah.
whatever.
Count the chickens before they hatch.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I feel two ways about these types of things right now. I don't normally watch the news. If something's big enough, I'll hear about it, like something like this case or whatever. And the way I look at it is this, right? There's many levels of the deception, right? I feel like everything is a show, everything, right? And I don't know how much is manufactured, right? As far as the incident, I don't know how much of a show the actual trial is. But it wouldn't surprise me if all of it was made up, right? And it wouldn't surprise me if some of it was real and all of it was real, right? None of those things would surprise me. But I think that there's several layers to it. I think the incident itself, the trial, and then within the trial, right? There's winning and losing within the show. And I know that this is like 3 levels deep now, right? And it could make you crazy thinking about it this way, right? But
Oh yeah.
it's like all these variables, right? And what's helped me, I think, is these things are interesting to me. I do still like to know how these things are going because it's the narrative that people believe, right? This is reality for people, right? But I've also learned to just accept it. Like everything is in one lump from the devil, and he has all sides, like both sides, even the good and bad side are both. It's like yin and yang is only a devil thing, right? There's no equal opposite to God, right? So
Yeah.
being at the end where we are, right? The only way to win is to separate from it, right? But they want you to pick a side, and
Absolutely.
it's
Yeah.
tough. It's tough because it could be real, right? And at the same, you know what I mean? And so these things are important also to understand that. But you're right about like what you're saying. It's not a slam dunk for those people just, for that detail to, what did he say? He said he's going to kill Kyle or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. They were just like, there it is, like basically calling victory, which, I found this out yesterday that like 3 of the people that are investigating or did the investigation on Kyle Rittenhouse are related, which that makes me question right there. And then another thing, what the heck was that FBI drone doing in the air? Like, how did
Yeah.
they get that? Like, where did that come from? It's like, why were they in the air, recording all that? And then were they at the J6 event? Were they doing that at every other riot? Like,
Well, okay, so it could be a couple things, right? One is there's always drones in the sky and they're always watching, right?
yeah.
Or two, it's fake and they had it up there for that specific, reason, or just happened to fly by, right? And
Yeah.
catch that, right? And so I'm thinking more along the lines of that there's always something in the sky watching us.
Oh yeah.
I don't think that there's because I remember when they were doing traffic light cams and all that stuff, and everyone was afraid of tickets and all that. But I don't remember too many people getting tickets. I mean, I know people have just I guess they got to just so it's legit or whatever. But like I think mostly they just wanted to put a camera on every corner just to
Oh
have
yeah.
one. And I'm surprised, right, that anybody gets away with murder. Like with all the cameras that are, in this world, right? If you didn't even have a cell phone, the average person is on camera 10 times a day.
At
That's
least.
that's crazy, isn't it? Like, well, check this out, right? And okay, you know how like technology is like um progressing pretty fast, right? And when I was a little kid, when like a really little kid, the doors at Safeway weren't automatic. You had to open the door, to go in. And I was really young, right? And I remember my grandma when she was like in my great grandmother, my nanny, when she was in her 80s, right? Um, we just kind of left her at home and did all the shopping for her. But she lived into her 90s, right? It was almost cruel to keep her in her house for like, just keeping her in her house for a decade, like she had to get out, right? And so we took her out. Like we took her out to go, no one would really take her out. It was a lot of work, but it was my dad thought it was important. And so we took her out and went to the grocery store. And when the door opened, she almost freaked out, man. Like she almost freaked out that the door like it was magical or something. And it just goes to show you that like the way technology is going so fast. It like don't be surprised if today they don't have something and tomorrow they do. You know what I mean? Like if they have the ability to watch everything you're doing and record your voice and get your bio data, your heartbeat, all this crazy stuff, right?
Oh yeah. And I remember thinking dial-up network. My kid can't. He he gets frustrated waiting on the Nintendo Switch to power up and to load. It's like, kid, you have no idea what. You wait 30 minutes for my stinking dial-up internet to get online. It's
And if
like
somebody
first
picked
world
up the phone to
problems.
try, like if somebody picked up the phone to try to make a call during that, you had to start over.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like I gotta make a call, get off the internet.
Like, hell no, I'm on here. Well, I think when it first came out, right? I don't know if you remember, but it was like it was like they charged you per minute or per hour or something like that. I can't remember if it was something like that. Like the internet cost a certain amount of money per hour, I think. I can't remember.
Yeah,
It was
I
like
know that
Prodigy.
my dad was super into like computers, especially when they came out, and he we got two phone lines for that purpose.
That's
And
cool.
but I can't remember. Yeah, internet, it's a crazy thing now. You just get on and upload a video just like that. I mean, it used to take like 20 minutes to download just a picture.
Yeah. No, you're right. Well, this 5G, right? The instant speed or whatever. I mean, instant download. I mean, who needs that? I mean, like, I don't even understand the purpose. I mean, I get it when they're talking about, driverless cars or whatever, that they need instant download speed to make decisions like that. But I mean, it's insane to have on like a phone. We don't need to have all these boxes out here humming. And I was totally against even having this 5G. I didn't even want it really, right? But if I'm gonna have two boxes out here humming right next to my head, I might as well have the service,
Yeah,
And it's
exactly.
probably, I don't know what it's doing to us. I really don't. I know it's microwaving us, 'cause that's obvious. It's a microwave, right? But I don't know. Like, I didn't get into all that, like what 5G can do. I know that there was a big deal about the fear of 5G. I've always just figured whatever the big thing was, right, that there was something else happening, that was like keeping people's attention while something else was happening.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's crazy. Like, it's very crazy nowadays to even imagine the technology they have. It's like, it's
It's
kind of
insane.
baffling. It's baffling. It's just, I mean,
Well,
just what they've released. That's what we know about. Like, just the stuff that they have in Area 51. Who knows? It's crazy. They got AI running everything.
I mean,
AI
just
listening to us right now.
think of the, oh, for sure. There's no doubt. They know who you are and who I am. There's no doubt about that. I used to think that was like kind of egotistical or something, to think that they would, because who am I? I'm not really anybody, right? But
No.
the truth community is so small, right? And we're all basically we're sub to all the same channels. We're basically like, we go from channel to channel to channel.
Yeah.
And there can't be that many of us. There really can't. If there's a million of us, I would be really shocked. You know and because this is just a corner of the internet people try to avoid. And I don't know, maybe that number is off. I don't know, it's pure speculation, but I think about more than just the AI, right? Listening to us and watching us. I've come to accept that it's these war machines that they're making. I mean, they got machines that could just kill, like straight up kill you.
Oh yeah.
Like
Boston
like
Dynamics.
mhm.
Strapping those cannons on the back of those dogs. Man, that's
Yeah.
scary.
Well,
That's scary.
Did you watch Michelle X's video on that?
Yeah, yeah. The one that it was talking about Black Mirror and
Yes.
yeah. And then I left a comment and I was like, I didn't know if you were aware, but they have strapped guns to these things, like
Yeah.
anti-sniper stuff, like 2,500 yards out. I don't know. That's crazy.
Absolutely. Yes. I mean, not only that, but like if these things were even in close range, you know, if they're right near you, they could tear you apart, man. What we're talking about, guys, I got to explain it so everyone gets what we're saying is we're talking about those robot dogs, right? I think one of them is called Spot. I think that's the name for this robot dog, and they have a lot of them that help out like on construction sites and things like that. And now they have these dogs that like go into like homeless camps, or if there's some place where there's a fire or like a massive heat, it could go in there and rescue people. And these things could just tear people apart. And once you weaponize these things, and especially if it's AI, it's not going to have any human emotion, right? To feel if somebody's scared or you know what I mean. These things are emotionless, armed, crazy. I mean, to me, it's demonic. I think AI is demons, man. You know, and that you might want to call that paranoid thinking or whatever, but I think that demons can exist in electronics. You know.
Oh no, I think you are 100% correct on that. I mean, why wouldn't they? They can possess the human mind. Why wouldn't they be able to do it with electronics?
I almost think that like there's like a lot of personalities like on these platforms, like a lot of these avatars, right? They're just straight up AI, you know, and we've been interacting with them like this whole time. Because I don't think, because like I'm of the belief, right, and this isn't like a common uh true thing that's out there, but and there's not a lot of video on it, but I don't think that there's 9 billion people in the world. Like I think it's under 1 billion, to be honest. You know, and the reason I could say that number, right? It's not like an arbitrary number. It's like the amount of cell phones in the world, right? Is 80% of the world has cell phones, right? Even though um, only 60% of the world has toilets, 80% of the world has cell phones. They want you on the internet. And the two biggest platforms are YouTube and Facebook, and each one of them have a billion accounts. And so, and people have multiple accounts or whatever, this and that. And I get that not everyone has a phone or whatever. Um, but I'm thinking that it's probably around that number of people in the world. I mean, wouldn't there be way more if there was 9 billion people and 5 billion of them had access to a phone? There'd be far more than a billion accounts.
That makes sense.
I
Yep.
mean, you're assuming that what they're saying is true though about their stuff. I mean, who knows, right? I mean, they lie to us about everything. That's why.
Everything.
Well, that's why I don't get mad at people like when they like are like they think crazy or they're zombies or it takes them a while to um come around to a couple of these truth ideas or something. I don't get frustrated with people because I just know how hard it is. I mean, you get so degraded and hypnotized and brainwashed by all this stuff, right? And overstimulation of everything. It's hard to come to the truth and start realizing stuff. I mean, I know some smart, reasonable people that just can't get themselves to accept things that are obvious.
I mean, even like Steven Crowder, that he's got a bunch of followers, and
Hmm.
he doesn't label himself as a conspiracy theorist. It's like nobody wants to label themselves as a conspiracy theorist, yet they have made conspiracy theories facts on their show. Yet they don't want
Right.
to be, they don't want to be labeled a conspiracy nut. I find
What
it funny, but
isn't it crazy how like the world does that, right? Like if you have critical thought and you have your own ideas about things, then you're some kind of you're a weirdo conspiracy nut. Now, if I tell you you could learn, okay, so whatever you learn, you can only go to these approved sources. If you go anywhere outside of this, then you're crazy. People have dedicated their lives to these sources, and this is what you need to accept. I mean, that's how you get deceived. You know what I mean? Is by not looking at other stuff. Now, if you look at everything else, and test it out for yourself, you're gonna run into things that are not true, obviously, and have to figure it out. But if you have any critical thought at all and you're trained to think that way, right? And some of us just think that way naturally, but some of us have to work at it, and so like if you scrutinize everything, you'll come to the truth, and that's a better way to think. I mean, look what they're doing. Like, I believe everything's a show and everything's for a reason, but in their narrative, right, they're giving Aaron Rodgers a bunch of grief, right, for questioning this thing, right, the shot. And it's like it's like as if there's no downside to it, like, oh, these people, it's science, you have to get it. It's you're a horrible individual if you question it because you're not a scientist. That's a scary way to think.
Oh yeah, definitely. That E3 guy, he's like,
Yeah.
I'm sure you heard of it, but everybody was giving him a bunch of crap because he was like, "Oh, we got these governmental bodies, and the CDC tells you have to, exactly what
Pickle.
to do. You don't even have to think about it, dude."
Yeah.
That's
Right.
that is dangerous, very dangerous.
Very dangerous, because like you're basically training people, and they've done it, like, they're so insidious. They've done it with so many different kinds of ways. Like, hey, Clutch, how you doing, buddy? They do it with like the game shows, right? Where if you know all the trivia, you win all this money, right? And you're sitting there with your family and you're answering all these questions that they wanted you to know in school, right? All this fake history and facts that will not help you, fake science, right? Fake origin stories, anything to separate you from God, right? And it's just in everything, right? There's outer space fantasy land in every cartoon. It took me forever to get it out of my head that there was never a caveman, like I still kept thinking, oh yeah, back in the caveman days when they just had, you know what I mean, when they had nothing, there was
Yeah.
never a human being like that. Every human being has been just as sophisticated as you and me.
Oh
Maybe
yeah.
they didn't have like houses like we have, like, but in some ages they had better stuff, and it's insane to me to think just how they affect your mind so much. The thought of like there not being dinosaurs, or the thought of human beings not like discovering water. Like, we didn't discover water to drink, right? Oh, we can drink this, it was made specifically for us,
Yeah.
and they want to put a whole bunch of stuff in it and flavor it, and oh, try this, as if water was not perfectly made exactly for our bodies,
Yeah. It's crazy, bro. I'm drinking water right now. I'm just like, how
Me
much
too.
crap is in here?
I know. I think about that too. That's all I drink is water now, right? And I'm always thinking that, like, what is in this water? Because I don't even
Hmm.
look. This is frightening. I don't even filter it. Like, I just drink the tap water, and I know
Yeah.
that's frightening. I know I'm not supposed to do. Why do I do it? And
I
I
mean,
because I know better.
you could filter it all you want. I don't think it's going to filter out all the chemicals anyway. I mean, even when you get a stinking rain barrel, you got to clean it with something like chlorine or bleach, like a drop of bleach. It's going to have something in it.
What about like I know distilled water. A lot of people drink distilled water, and it's a lot better. I know, Faith. Hey, I know it. If I'm gonna drink only water, I should just drink distilled water, I think, because I get enough vitamins and minerals. Like, I do make sure that I get my daily dose of what I need, but it's very systematic how I eat, and I don't think people could eat this discipline. Like, I don't enjoy food. It's just something that I have to do, and that's kind of a weird way to live. You know what I mean?
I get you, bro. Like I uh I literally have to take just a small hit of my vape pen to be able to, get an appetite nowadays.
Yeah.
I'm just like not hungry. Like my stomach will be hungry, but I'm not personally hungry. It's weird. Uh,
Is it like
just
is it like you're thinking like like you can't enjoy food? Like, there's something about your brain that just doesn't enjoy the taste of food or something.
And I don't know what it is. I eat a lot of eggs, and I tell you what,
That's good for you,
like
man.
it is, but like sometimes I'll make some eggs and they just don't taste right. They don't taste right. Just taste rubbery, you know? And
Yeah.
it's not how it's cooked. It just depends on what batch of eggs I get. But it's like it's hit and miss every time.
Do you think that because you eat eggs all the time, you're probably sensitive to any changes in them, right? And so, do you think that they're doing something to the food, right? Like, I mean, obviously they're doing like,
Absolutely.
with stuff with genetics and all that stuff, but I'm almost thinking that we're eating cloned stuff right now at this point, like stuff that wasn't meant for us, you know?
No doubt. No doubt.
Yeah.
I know that there's too many people to that are buying stuff and to keep up with the demand. I think that they're cloning chickens, eggs. They're probably making eggs out of, making eggs in test tubes. I don't know this, but I speculate.
Yeah. If there was a way to do it like that, they would be doing it. I mean, that's the way I think about it. Like, they make laws, right? Oh, yeah, you're not supposed to, like, clone a human being, blah, 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 all this stuff, right? The laws are there just for regular people like you and me. If we figure it out, there's laws, right? But
Yeah.
if they can be done, right, they're doing it. And there's all kinds of mad scientists, like freaky stuff happening out there, which I don't really want to think about it, right? But it's reality, right? It's people are suffering. There is a certain amount of suffering that's happening out there that's beyond what we can comprehend, and that's how they get away with it, is because it's so beyond what we think a human being would do.
Oh, no
And
doubt. No doubt. If Fauci was doing that to beagles, dogs, monkeys, why wouldn't he do that to us?
right, and
Especially if they believe that we came from an ape. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they?
well, and here's the sad part about that, right? Is I love animals, right? I mean, I love animals, and it broke my heart to hear that stuff, right? But
Oh yeah.
more people were outraged about the animals, right, than the fact that they're doing this to us, man. With
Oh
this,
yeah.
with the jab, right? More people were concerned about the beagles and the whatever, right? And instead of like they want to put this thing into babies, man.
Yeah.
This medicine, right? I mean, that's unbelievable to me, man. Like, I guess before coming into this, all this information about what's true and not true in the world, I guess because my kids were vaccinated and all that stuff, and I didn't think anything of it. I just thought this is just what we got to do. I didn't question it, and I kicked myself, for not being more critical back then, but yeah, I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, it's absurd to think about that,
You
you
know,
know?
my kid's vaccinated, not with this, but
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
the normal vaccines. I don't remember ever getting the choice, you know?
I don't remember if they asked me or not. You're right. I wonder if they just do it. Well,
Yeah.
see, and then it begs the question, right? Like, are some of these things like, do they really fight disease? And the ones that do, you know, uh, or really fight whatever the illness is, right? And how you get it, because there's a lot of things that I don't believe about germ theory, also, but
Yeah.
um like if it was a real thing that you could get some treatment for, they would just give it to you, right? Because I remember my mom saying that when she was a kid, polio was a big thing, right? And that they just lined them up and gave them a sugar cube. They didn't call their parents or anything like that. They said, eat your sugar cube or whatever, and that supposedly had the medicine on it or whatever. And so
Most definitely.
it makes you wonder, like, well, why all of a sudden is this thing like consensual, right? I think in God's world, the devil can't just do stuff to you, right? He's got to give you a choice, and that's what makes me scared about, like, not scared, but makes me concerned and critical about what this thing is. Is it the mark of, and so it makes me wonder if because of that, and because that they're not giving it to anybody under 12, right? Because anytime there's infectious stuff, right, you would think kids would spread it faster. They're always touching each other and, touching their face and all that stuff, right? You
Yeah.
wouldn't think that like older people that never touch anybody, right, would, yeah, they'd get sick and their immune systems aren't great, but they wouldn't be spreading it fast like kids do. And it makes you think, because we're in a financial crisis at the same time, that, if you believe that narrative, right, that they would want to get rid of people that are dependent on the government, and they would want to keep all the young people because that's how you pay for these things, right? And
Hmm.
that's another sick twist to it, right?
You want to know something weird?
Yeah.
This was back when my grandpa was, just this was when flu shots actually costed money, and my grandpa's work wanted him to get a flu shot, so he went and got one, and he got sicker than he had ever gotten before. And he told his work back then, he's like, I'm not getting another one. He's like, you're gonna have to fire me, but I ain't doing it. And that was a flu shot.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, and I'm going to go into my personal stuff a little bit here, but I didn't think anything of flu shots and what they were, or it didn't even dawn on me if they were good for you, bad for you, if they even did anything, right? And uh, one year, this was like probably, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 years ago. I'm not good at knowing how long ago it was, but I got a flu shot at the. This is the last time I ever got any vaccines, right? I got a flu shot at the VA. Then they had like they were giving away a $25 gift card at Safeway or something if you got the vaccine. So I got another one, right? To get the money, right? And then they did another one at Walgreens, and I was like, oh man, I could just keep doing this and get some money. This is like an easy way to get these food cards. For
Yeah,
25 bucks I didn't really even need. And
yeah,
what was crazy is that, and this could be psychosomatic too, which is one thing they had to treat me for, kind of, right? But like, I started feeling like there was bugs crawling all over me. I mean, it was horrific, this experience, right? And it was a long time. It wasn't a short, it was like a long time. And it got to the point where they were like had to give me like antipsychotic medicine, for feeling this stuff, right? And now that I know in hindsight what all this medicine is, I probably would never have taken any of that, right? But it was a horrific experience, something I'm not willing to try again, right? And so even if there was nothing going on with this thing, I still would be, not wanting to get it, just out of fear of that happening again.
well, it's crazy because they got the all these different pokes. They got pokes for like meth addiction, a heroin addiction, but yet they don't have cures for cancer. They don't have cures for I questioned all of it. It's
Yeah, I question why we would even get cancer. If we ate food, right, that we're supposed to eat, animals and plants, right, and not much in between, right, uh, then we probably would never get sick. We probably would feel great, and I feel kind of
yeah.
I feel kind of robbed, right, that I don't feel great, because I'm sure that these elite people don't, they drink clean water and they only have clean food, and they probably feel amazing. And it bothers me that we're kind of being cheated out of that, because I probably could have been a better dad, a better servant of God, if I felt good, right? I mean, most of my life, that's all I ever wanted. Oh, I just want to feel good. I just tell me how to be, and then I'll do whatever. And that's always the thing that held me back, is I never felt right.
Yeah, hindsight's 20 though. I mean, we're where we're at. We're for a reason. I mean,
Yeah,
everything happens for a reason. It's crazy.
I believe that too.
Even the
I believe
bad
it too.
stuff.
You're right, you know. And
Makes us who
so,
we are.
anyway, I'm gonna round out, man. That was a good show, man. I'm sorry if I kind of babbled, but I was excited to have you up here, man. I had a lot to say to you,
Oh
and
man, that went by quick.
I know it. I know it. It's a good show, and so
Yeah,
we got to do it again more often. And I think,
absolutely.
well, thank you for coming on, Chris. I really appreciate it, and
Thanks, bud. Love all y'all in the chat. I'll
and I
see
just
you
want
tonight, bud.
sweet. Thank you. And oh
Later.
yeah, that's right. You can come on tonight too if you want. I didn't know if he answered me in time. Well, anyway, that was awesome for Chris to come on. I think he did a great job. And yeah, we live and learn, and now that I know that, really it's about, the devil owns the world, right? And it's more and more apparent every day that our job is to really just separate from it, right? Because that's what God tells us to do, and um, come out of her, right? And so the only one that's really had our back is God, right? And Jesus gave us a way out of here and a way to move on. And I just think about every day what He did for us, And so I'll say this: praise God. Sorry, praise Jesus for His sacrifice and His grace. Sorry, I got to take a minute. Praise Jesus for His sacrifice and His grace. All glory to God, and I'll see you guys tonight at 5 o'clock, 5 p.m. California time. Love you guys. Pray for the children.